Before we visited Santiago, Chile, we weren't quite sure what to expect. Frankly, our main reason for traveling to South America was to go to Argentina.
Buenos Aires was near the top of my bucket list, and I've been wanting to go for a really, really long time.
But we didn't want to fly all the way to South America in coach, and premium seats to Buenos Aires were incredibly pricey for the time frame that we wanted to go in. So we looked into alternatives, found a great deal on premium economy seats to Santiago. So we decided to begin our South America trip there.
We'd heard really good things about Chile, but we'd also gotten some warnings. And like most travelers, we had a picture in our minds of what Santiago might be like.
Some of those expectations were right.
And some of them completely wrong.
Today we're sharing the things that surprised us about Santiago, both good and bad.
And most of them were good.
And a few were things we wish we'd known before we arrived. The biggest surprise for us was how modern much of Santiago felt.
If your image of Chile is based on history books or documentaries about the military coup in the 1970s, Santiago today feels very different.
The city has rebuilt and grown dramatically.
In fact, Santiago is home to the tallest building in South America, the 62-story Gran Torre Santiago.
It's nearly 1,000 feet tall, and the surrounding financial district is nicknamed Sanhattan.
Now, I was born in Manhattan, and with Santiago's Sanhattan, skyscrapers and business district atmosphere, it felt much more like a global city than we expected. One of the best decisions we made was staying in the Vitacura neighborhood instead of downtown or other more central areas.
Vitacura felt safe, relaxed, and very local.
Our hotel was surprisingly affordable. There were excellent non-touristy restaurants nearby, and our room had a beautiful view of the nearby Andes Mountains. Plus, it was a very walkable area.
I think the best steak dinner we had in all of South America was at a neighborhood place walking distance from our hotel. We enjoyed walking around Vitacura and nearby neighborhoods. There were sculptures and public art throughout the city, and I don't think we ever felt unsafe.
No, we didn't. And when we wanted to visit downtown attractions, Uber rides were easy and inexpensive, and Santiago's subway system was clean and efficient. We were also pleasantly surprised that some of the subway stations have beautiful artwork too.
For us, staying in Vitacura was the perfect balance between convenience and experiencing everyday life in Santiago. Another surprise happened before our trip had really even started.
Our flight from the United States landed early in the morning.
Normally, when that happens, we expect to leave our luggage at the hotel and kind of wander around town for a few hours until our room is available.
Instead, our hotel checked us in early.
And then they invited us to enjoy their breakfast buffet at no charge.
We've traveled an awful lot throughout the United States and internationally, and we've sometimes received early check-in, but no hotel has ever offered us breakfast with an early check-in before.
Not one. And it was a small gesture, but it made a fantastic first impression.
And it set the tone for the trip.
Now, not every surprise was positive.
Before our trip, we'd read several travel blogs that suggested to simply use Uber to get to our hotel from the airport.
What we discovered is that Uber pickups at the airport are not allowed. This was very surprising because of all the things we'd read before our trip.
While we tried to figure things out, we were repeatedly solicited by very aggressive people in the arrival area trying to sell various transportation services. We didn't know who to trust, and frankly, after a long flight, the whole scene was chaotic and not what we'd hoped we'd experience on arrival.
We finally found an actual airport worker who pointed out the counter area where several taxi and bus ticket desks were located. We pushed our way through all the hawkers and were finally able to prepay for an official taxi ride. So our recommendation is simple. Buy transportation from the airport from the official taxi and bus desk inside the terminal, and just ignore the chaos of all the hawkers trying to sell their rides.
Our taxi cost about $30 for what was about a 17-mile drive, which was a lot less than what the hawkers were offering us.
After we got into the city, Uber worked well and was very affordable.
But arriving at the airport was far more chaotic than we expected. Just be prepared, and don't let that keep you from visiting Santiago, as the rest of our visit was pretty great.
But they really need to fix that arrival experience.
One of our favorite attractions was La Toscana, the Santiago home of poet Pablo Neruda.
Neruda won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and his actual Nobel Prize is on display at this house.
It's so cool to see.
It is.
The house itself is unusual and worth visiting, even if you're not familiar with his work.
Another surprise came with how easy it was to combine that history with incredible views.
Near La Toscana is a funicular that's been operating for more than a century.
We rode it to the top and enjoyed spectacular views across the entire Santiago area.
In fact, if you see our outro, we use that picture. Then we took a cable car that carried us down to Sanhattan, which is in a completely different part of the city from where the funicular is. It was one of our favorite days in Santiago.
Something else that surprised us was the quality of the free walking tour we took. We'd never done one of these before, and it was so good that now we always look for them.
Our guide Diego showed us great sights, taught us some Chilean slang, gave us a great restaurant recommendation, and highly recommended the Chilean Museum of Pre-Columbian Art. We went back the following day and were extremely impressed.
Now for one of the lighter surprises. If you've ever heard the expression that in Chile, mayonnaise isn't a condiment, it's an ingredient, we can confirm there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, we saw enormous displays of mayonnaise in grocery stores, and many of the sandwiches, including hot dogs, came with much more mayonnaise than we typically see in the United States.
Now, it's not a criticism.
It's just one of those small cultural differences that makes travel interesting.
One odd surprise involved our phones. For some reason, neither of us could get internet service while we were in the Barrio Italia, which is a major tourist zone. Everywhere else in Santiago, our phones work normally. We never figured out what caused the problem, but fortunately we had a backup map and were able to navigate without a problem. Now, if you've experienced something similar while traveling, let us know down in the comments.
Overall, Santiago surprised us in some of the best possible ways.
Modern neighborhoods, great food, beautiful mountain views, fascinating history, and easy transportation once we got in from the airport.
It's a city we enjoyed much, much more than we expected.
Have you ever visited a city that was completely different from what you expected?
Tell us where it was and what surprised you most in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel for more videos we hope will help you live your best life after 50.
Better living starts now.
See you next time.